Well, folks, not many people thought we'd be here, but here we are, previewing a Sweet 16 matchup of the NCAA tournament for Syracuse basketball. The three of us, we're here to break it down for you. Alongside Karl Moeglein and Jackson Ajello, I'm JD Raucci. And guys, we get a double dose of Duke this weekend. Of course, the basketball game in Omaha, Nebraska, Friday night. And then you've got lacrosse, Syracuse and Duke lacrosse at Koskinen Stadium at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina on Saturday. Should both be fun ones. But Karl, what's the more intriguing matchup?
Well, when it comes to these two schools, Syracuse and Duke, yes, you think about basketball, of course, but they're two lacrosse powerhouses, and that's where the rivalry really is. Syracuse, a new school to the ACC, but they've been playing in lacrosse for decades. It's a much more intriguing matchup when it comes to these two schools.
I'm sorry, Karl, but child, please, it's the NCAA tournament. I've got a sweet tooth. I think we all have a sweet tooth for the Sweet 16. It's the Elite Eight matchup between Syracuse and Duke. That's the one that's more intriguing.
I think they're both pretty intriguing, guys.
Way to sit on a fence, JD. Pick a side.
Listen, I'm the host. I can do what I want, all right? But you know what's been really intriguing? Both of these teams run through the NCAA tournament and to the Sweet 16. Duke has been dominant. 2 20-plus point wins against Iona and against Rhode Island in rounds 1 and 2. Syracuse, obviously, a much closer couple of games against Arizona State, TCU, and Michigan State most recently. But guys, what's been the more impressive run? The close games for Syracuse and just squeaking by, or those big blowout wins for Duke?
It has to be Duke, and as you said, it's because of the blowouts. Duke has not even been close to touched by an opponent so far, and that Rhode Island team was very good, beat a strong Oklahoma team as well. So when I look at that run, Duke's just more impressive because unlike Syracuse, they've had convincing wins. Syracuse, you play those games again, I don't know if they come out with the wins.
Respectfully, Karl, I disagree because Duke is expected to have those big blowout wins. The team's the 2 seed. They played Iona in the first round as a 15 seed. Syracuse, a play-in game to start this tournament, playing with 5 guys and 2 injured fellas out on the floor, playing maximum minutes for all these players, playing that 2-3 zone, and in these one-possession games down the stretch, how they're pulling them out, I don't really know. The offense hasn't really been there so far, so that's what's more impressive to me, how they're squeaking by, JD.
Well, even if you're like Jackson, you don't think Duke's been that impressive, make no mistake about it, they're tough to beat. A 60-44 win over Syracuse earlier in the season. Karl, how did Syracuse turn it around this time? How did they get a little revenge? What's your key to the game?
Well, and you mentioned that last game, and when I look at this matchup, I look at something that went wrong last time, and that's why my key to the game is not letting Bagley and Carter finish at the rim. Last time these two teams played, Marvin Bagley went 8 for 9 shooting, and if you remember, that was his first game back from injury. He may be even stronger than then. Add on 16 points for Carter, and that's a tough pair to stop. Syracuse did a really good job on the perimeter, but inside Duke dominated, and that's why they won the first time around. So if Syracuse changes that, they've got a lot better chance.
Definitely the reason why Duke was able to shoot 68% from 2-point range in the second half of that game. But for me, the key is the 2 guys that have been the key all season. It's the guard play for Syracuse, and it's Frank Howard, and it's Tyus Battle. Look, so far in the tournament, through these 3 games that, as I mentioned, I don't totally know how the team has won them. They've squeaked them out. It's been that zone. But Syracuse needs some offense against this Duke team. This is a top 10 offense in the country. The Oranges just averaged 23 points per game from those 2 guards in this tournament. In the season, it's 34 points per game. So Syracuse definitely needs to step up in that department in order to take down the Blue Devils, JD.
Yeah, Jackson, you haven't been that impressed with the Duke team thus far in the tournament. At least you say so. I think you might be a little more impressed than you're letting on. But that begs the question, can Syracuse beat this super talented Duke team? Can they get some revenge? Will Syracuse keep dancing on Friday night?
Well, JD, I have been impressed with this Duke team, but I'm drinking the Syracuse Kool-Aid, and I'm drinking the 2-3 zone Kool-Aid as well. The reason I'm going with the Orange, 67-64 in this game, and I just think that Syracuse should be able to keep Duke down with that 2-3 zone once again. They did it the first time. Duke's lowest output of the season, 60 points, even lower than when Duke played Virginia, who was already bounced from the NCAA tournament. So you look at this Syracuse team, I think they'll be able to score. I think that guard play will step up. Regression to the mean. They have to shoot well at some point, right?
I mean, you said it. Syracuse's defense will hold Duke down, but they're also going to hold them only down so much. At the end of the day, Duke's going to pull out the win 64-54. And a lot of it comes down to Syracuse's just inability to score the ball. You said that maybe they'll regress to the mean, maybe they'll do better, but I think that this is the Syracuse offense we've seen all season. And as you know, history tends to repeat itself. Syracuse never beaten Duke in the NCAA tournament. I don't expect them to get their first win in this game.
Certainly a lot to look forward to in this game. Can Syracuse keep the run going? It's number 11 seed Syracuse, number 2 seed Duke. in Omaha on Friday night, and it should be a dandy. For Jackson Ajello and Karl Moeglein, I'm JD Raucci saying so long, and keep those dancing shoes polished, Syracuse.